No one wants to sit in the front row? Well, thank you everybody for coming out tonight to learn about Now Entering. My name is Sarah Krebs. I work at Ball State PBS as an assistant producer director, and I am the executive producer of our Now Entering series. I have Debbie Webb here. She is our underwriting advisor who works with us on this program. So how many of you are familiar with Now Entering? Have any of you seen any of the programs? Okay, so a little bit about, maybe the clicker's going to work. Maybe not. It worked before. There we go. So Now Entering, there's a lot of PBS stations around the country that have shows similar to this. We started ours in 2016 with Portland, Indiana being our first one, and Union City will be our 15th town. We do 3 to 4 a year. The pandemic kind of threw us off of our schedule, so you guys are our 15th town. What it is a video scrapbook of the people, places, and history of the towns. And the clicker's still not working. There we go. I like to describe it as your town, your stories told by you. And it's still not working. So the residents, what makes this unique is the residents become the storytellers. We as a station aren't coming into town telling the stories. We want the residents to actually come, and they provide all of the, we'll have them sit down for a little interview. They tell the story. They provide the photos, videos, anything to go along with that story that we need to make a story out of it. So, and these are just a few of the topics or story ideas that we've had. We have a lot of, usually in each town we have someone from the library coming to tell the history of the library, economic development, any community events, special events. So what I can think of for you guys is like the Christmas lights out at the park. Every town has an event like that they come and tell their story about. We have a lot of family history. I think in every single one of the towns we've had a family that is multi-generational that have lived in that town over those generations. So they come to tell why they have stayed in the town and why they still their family continues to live there. Becky, next one. So this is one of our storytellers from Eaton. If you go ahead and play it, this just gives you kind of an idea of what a small part of the story would be like. Maybe. I don't know if there's audio with it. There's supposed to be. You guys can just pretend that you can hear it. But she sat down with us to talk about this story that her dad and mom were involved with. And she provided like the little buttons, the photos, the newspaper clippings, her dad's hat from the centennial. All of that stuff she brought in. So I just wanted you guys to look at that and kind of get an idea of the newspaper clippings, photos, any items that you would have that go along with that story. Please bring those when you come to tell those stories. It makes our job a lot easier when we edit those together. Okay. Next, Becky. Okay, you can go to the next one. So how to become a storyteller? I'm sure all of you are wondering that because how many people have stories to tell? All of you should be raising your hands. Come on. So there's a couple different ways that you can become a storyteller. We do have participation forms here tonight. You can fill one of those out and turn them in tonight if you guys know what story you're going to tell. We also have those on our website. If you go to ballstatepbs.org, all of the community guide that we have back there for you guys to take, that's up online. The participation form is online. Once you send those in, I'll get an email that you filled the form out. I'll send you a confirmation email letting you know that I did get your participation form. And then 1 to 2 weeks before production day, which we have production day scheduled for the afternoon of December 2nd and all day on December 3rd. So 1 to 2 weeks before that, you'll get an email with your interview time. It'll be about a 20-minute time frame we'll give you. That just gives you time to come in and check in and then actually do your interview. So like I said, production day is December 3rd. We're going to have limited number of spots in the afternoon, and then we'll probably do on Saturday the 3rd from like 9 to 5, and that is at is it the community room? Is that what it's called? Okay, at the community room. Okay, you can go to the next slide, Becky. So a little bit about what production day looks like. We'll have a check-in table, and this is where you'll make sure all your forms are filled out. You'll sign our release forms. If you have any pictures or anything that you brought with us, we'll scan those that day. And if you have bigger items, our scanner's only so big. So if you have bigger items that you bring with you, or like you saw in the clip from the Eaton show, she had the hats and the buttons. We actually have a camera that we can video those, or someone can take still photos. So that's check-in. If you go to the next one, Becky. You'll do a little pre-interview with your interviewer. This is a informal conversation, maybe 5 to 10 minutes, just so they can get an idea of what your story is and kind of some questions that they can ask you once you do sit down in front of the camera. So that's the pre-interview. If you go to the next one, Becky. Your interview, this is where you'll sit down in front of the cameras. And the pre-interview, we like to do that because that gets people relaxed, because when we just throw you in front of the camera, people are like, oh my God, I'm in front of a camera, what do I do? So the pre-interview just kind of gets you relaxed with your person who's going to be interviewing you, and then you'll go do your interview. These are a couple from 3 different shows that we've done, just showing the setup. So it'll be you and your interviewer, and then probably one camera person in the room, so not too many people in the room. The nice thing is it's not live, so if you start to tell your story and you don't like what you said, you can stop and start over, and no one will ever know that you messed up or you had to start over, because we'll edit it together and everything will be fine. So that's the nice thing about it. You don't have to worry about it being live to tape. You can restart as many times as you need to. So then after we have all of the interviews done, we'll go back and we'll edit the show together. It usually comes out to be about an hour-and-a-half show. We have 20 to 25 storytellers that we have per town is usually what we average. So that comes out to be about an hour-and-a-half. If you go to the next slide, Becky. So as a storyteller, we have a storyteller preview. So all the storytellers get invited. We'll come back to the town and we'll show you guys are the first ones to get to see the show all put together. And that's so you guys can have a little preview, but it also helps us. We have each storyteller watch their story and make sure that we use the right pictures in the right spots. We don't want, when you're talking about Uncle Ted, we showed Uncle Bob. We want to make sure that all of the pictures and everything that you guys turn in were used in the right place in your story. So you guys not only get, as storytellers, a preview before it airs, it also helps us make sure that we have everything correct with your story. Go to the next one, Becky. So then after storyteller preview, we have our pledge premiere night. This is where it premieres on Ball State PBS. We'll invite all the storytellers if they want to come into the studio to answer phones. As you can see in this picture on the right, 3 or 4. We usually have 3 or 4 pledge breaks. In each pledge break, we'll pick a storyteller who came to the studio to answer phones, to do a little interview. It's usually, why did you want to tell your story, what it's like living in the whatever town we're doing, and just it lasts maybe 3 minutes, so it's 3 or 4 questions that you'll have to answer. But you can see in the middle picture there, that's our host. We'll have hosts talking about because as a PBS station, we use this as a fundraiser for us. So they'll talk about the show and a little bit about what happened with production day in the town, and then people will call in and pledge for a DVD. I'll talk about that a little later. That's what happens on pledge night. So you can go to the next slide, Becky. So like I said, PBS stations have to fundraise. I know you guys have all seen our breaks and everything that we have on air. So for pledge night, you can call in. People from the town can watch. The nice thing is we stream it on our Facebook page and our website. So if residents have moved out of the town, They can still watch it if you know someone who grew up in the town who doesn't live here anymore. We had one town, I forget which one it was, we had someone from Canada watching because they had grown up in the town and had moved away, but they still got to watch the show and be a part of it. So they can, residents from the town or anyone watching can call in a pledge and you'll get a DVD of all of the stories that we've edited together. It has bonus features of if there was a story or a section of you told a different story other than what was in the show. We'll have little clips like that we call it the cutting room floor. They didn't make it into the show, but we thought it was still important to share on the DVD. So we'll have a bunch of bonus footage like that. Photos taken at production day and behind the scenes pledge night. All of that will be on the DVD. And then the other way that we raise money is through underwriting sponsorships. And I'll hand it over to Debbie, and she will talk to you about that. And with all the towns, all the people that have come in to answer phones, they've had a really fun time. Some people they get nervous, but they've all had a good time coming into the studio. So, yeah.
Thanks, Sarah. So I'm excited to be here. So I wore my Rotary pin. Are there any Union City Rotarians here? One. All right. That's exciting to know. So I'm always excited to come to these small towns because I get to meet so many great people. And it's like people that just love their hometowns. And it's like it's fun to see their joy about sharing their stories about their community. There's just a lot of really neat people across central Indiana, and I'm delighted to be able to meet them. And as Sarah mentioned, I'm part of the underwriting team, and so we've been able to do 15 towns because we've gone into the communities, and there have been community-minded businesses and organizations that are willing to support this. So I mentioned Rotary because I'm a member of the Anderson Rotary Club, and in 2018 our club celebrated its centennial year. We were 100 years old. So our current club president that year wanted to do a video. So we contracted with a professional company, and we got it was about a 2.5-minute video, and it cost us $8,000. So the town of Union City is going to end up with an 1.5-hour documentary, and all we're asking is to help us identify businesses in the community that would like to be a part of this and help to champion this opportunity for your town. So, the towns before have paid it forward. So Yorktown was our most recent town, and so through the generosity of local businesses, we were able to come on down 32 and come visit you. So we're excited about that opportunity. So I have business cards tonight. So if any of you own businesses or you know someone you think might want to be a part of that. So it could be, a business, it could be a nonprofit, a foundation, it can be a government entity. We've had all sorts of types of businesses, but I think when you look at the people that like to be a part of this are people that are real champions to their town. They want to demonstrate their leadership and to be, a part of something like this. Because it's going to have, a nice shelf life, and it'll be something that you can use to market your community. We have opportunities for community sponsorships. There's presenting sponsorships and premium presenting sponsorships. So it ranges from like $325 for a community sponsorship. The premium presenting sponsorship includes underwriting spot that goes on the program and on the DVDs, and that's like $1,495. So there's another presenting sponsorship at $1,295. But if any of you know somebody that you think might be interested in being a part of that, I hope that you would share that with me. Any questions on the underwriting? So I've got business cards if anybody's interested, and I look forward to meeting you. So I think it'll be an experience that your town will really enjoy, and you'll have something really awesome when it's all over with. Thanks.
Like Debbie said, we look at this as the towns are paying it forward for the next town. So the nice thing about this is we don't need, I think in Yorktown they said, so how much money do you need up front for us to do, or for you to come do this? we don't need anything. Yorktown paid for Union City, you know, whatever we make here, whatever we have, that's going to allow us to continue and do it for a next town. So it's not us coming in and saying, hey, we want to do this, but we need, you know, X amount of money before it's really, we look at it as paying it forward to the next town. And the nice thing about this show, it's highlighting the positive about these small towns. A lot of the smaller towns don't get a lot of press coverage unless something bad happens in the town. I mean, that's what we talk about at every town, is that a lot of these people don't know the stories of the towns unless something bad happens, and that's not why we're here. We're here to highlight the positives. So you can go to the next one, Becky. So there's my contact information. If you guys have any questions about the process or anything, like I said, if you go to ballstatepbs.org/nowentering, it has the community guide. We do have copies back there. It has the participation form that's back there, and then it just has links to the other 14 towns that we've done. So if you guys want to go back and watch short little clips of those to get an idea of what it's like, you guys can do that. So do you guys have any questions? We're excited about this project. We really this is one of my favorite projects that we get to work on because it does highlight the positives. Every town we go into, it's funny because you can have people that have lived in the town their whole lives. You know, they grew up in the town, and they're in their, you know, we had in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, they've lived in the town, and they come to the community meetings, and they start talking to other town residents. And I think this happened in Eaton. I remember they were making a list of the different stories and everything, and people who have lived in the town their whole lives didn't know some of the stories. So it's not only we're learning about the towns, but the residents in the towns are actually learning stories about their towns. And I think that's something that's unique and different about this, and what one of the things that I like about it. It's not just educating people who don't live in the towns about the town. Residents in the towns are learning about their own town that they've grown up in. So I think that's a really positive, interesting thing that I like about this show. So, you guys have any questions? Yeah. We have done, we like to look around our viewing area, and we did Yorktown. Before that, we had gone to Cicero, and so we wanted to go towards the east side, so we were looking, and Union City came up several times on the list that people made, so we decided that this is the farthest east we've ever come. We did do Winchester. We have ones coming up. I think we were looking at Albany, because they had contacted us. We open it up for any communities or towns around Muncie that want to have their town featured. So Albany contacted us, so we'll be doing Albany. We'll probably do Anderson. We've looked at Hagerstown. We're on our 15th town, but we still have a lot of more towns to go. So it's what people at the station, if a town contacts us, we'll put them on the list. But we have a group that gets together and just kind of looks around to see what areas we haven't covered yet, and pick towns in those areas. So. Yeah, it's exciting we've had a couple towns that we've done that they've hit their high point and they're just kind of going along, but then to see ones that are starting to, increase and get that, ramp back up, it's interesting and fun to see that. We had that with Cicero, because they're expanding and kind of growing their town more, and so it's interesting to see those towns, the comparison of the ones that are have hit their peak and are just kind of they're nothing new's coming in to town, and they're not expanding, they're just kind of staying how they are, and then seeing the towns that are expanding and increasing and kind of revitalizing. So it's neat to see that. What? Yes. 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 Yep. Yep. This is our first, like I said, this is the farthest east we've come. So, yep. We want to include everyone in it. So. Becky's not letting you leave until she gets a participation form from everyone. And we like to include the younger audience and generation too. We've had, I think it was, I'm trying to think what town it was. We've had a couple high school kids come in. I think Alexandria, we had a couple high school kids come in and talk about growing up in the town and what it's like to be part of the school and all the school activities and how the school is a part of the community and what things they get to do. Pendleton and Fortville each had high school kids, I think it was junior high or high school, come in and talk about the different positive programs and projects that the school groups do in the community and how that's important to the community. So yeah, any age group we'll take stories from. So.
I know an interesting story was in Newcastle where you had a little league world champion,
Mm-hmm.
and they had pictures from when they were, won the championship when they were young, and then they did follow-up interviews, and then the college students, and there was the college students, the coaches. There was just a great
Mm-hmm.
perspective, and it really was a super story, very interesting to watch.
Yeah, it's really what the town residents feel is important, that they want people to know about their town, why they like their town, growing up in the town, why they choose to live in the town. Anything that you guys feel is important that you want, as long as it's a positive story, we're not going to put anything negative, but as long as it's a positive story, we'll take that story. Like I said, we limit it. 25 is the max that we can take. We'll start if we get 25 and there's more, we'll start a list in case anyone does cancel, because we've had people back out due to one reason or another, and so we'll contact the people on the wait list. But 25 is about the maximum that we can do. Otherwise, the show just gets too long for us to do anything with. So. Yeah, we'll put it up on our YouTube channel, and it'll be on there. And then we do give copies to the town so they can use. I think it was Newcastle used it for. They had some celebration that they had coming up, so they asked us if they could play the show. I think at the library they were doing it, and we let the towns do that. Whatever, if you guys have some big celebration coming up or anything that you want to use the video for and the show for, we let the towns do that. And then it's also up on our YouTube channel that you can get. So, any other questions? Yep. This will air probably in February or March. So we'll do production day, like I said, the 2nd and 3rd of December. By the time we edit and get everything done that way, it usually pushes out to, it'll be probably February or March by the time this airs. And we'll make sure that the town gets all the promotion for it. We'll send you guys social media posts that you can put up. We have posters that you guys can hang around town. They're probably about that big. And all the sponsors get put on that, but we'll give you those. We'll have social media, anything to help you guys promote the premiere of it, we'll help you guys with. So. Any other questions? I don't have anything else. Thank you guys for coming out and learning about this. And if you have any questions, I do have business cards on me if you want to take that. Like I said, that's my contact information. It's also on the website that you see down there. So if you do have any questions while you're trying to find people or anything, just let me know, and I will be glad to help out. So thank you guys for coming.